Hey guys, Katie here, and today I'm doing the On My Shelf tag. I'd really like to show you guys some books on my bookshelf, so I figured I'd do this tag. I may possibly grab a book or two off the shelf at the end and just show it to you because I don't think that any of the ones that I was particularly hoping to show got picked. So I asked my boyfriend to pick some numbers for me. He did on this bill because I use bills for writing things. So let's just get started. The first number that my boyfriend picked was 28. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. How funny. This is my copy of Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire, and what is interesting about this is that it was signed by a Christian pop group named Jump 5. If you've heard of Jump 5, please comment. I found Jump 5 through my friend Erica when I was younger, not nearly as young as I should have been to be listening to this pop group, but I've always really loved just fun music, and they were kind of our age, a few of them, and it was kind of exciting. We met them a couple of times, we went to their concerts a couple of times, and we were always the oldest people there because I think Erica was probably 18 and I was 20 or 21. I don't really remember how old I was, but here it is, my signed copy. The Goblet of Fire is the only Harry Potter book I have not read more than twice, which is really weird because I actually really enjoy the movie. I want the new box set, and then I think I'm gonna read through the series again, and that'll be a lot of fun. The next number I have is 127, which is silly. It's the last book on my top shelf, and my top shelf is where I keep my new books and my to-be-read books. So it's Laini Taylor's Daughter of Smoke and Bone, which I recently finished and will have a review up of this week. I picked this up because I'd kind of heard about it and I thought it sounded kind of interesting, and then Jen at Today in Jen's Library, who is lovely, recommended it to me over some other YA book that I was thinking about. So I'm so glad that she told me to read this because it was a lot better than the other book I think that I was looking at reading. I'm glad that I read this. It was really fun, and it's kind of nice to read YA and feel that way because, you know, so often we sometimes get a negative view of YA lately, but it's actually good and I really enjoyed this. The next book that I have is supposed to be 1-4. This is a book I got in a dollar store in southern West Virginia, and I got it for like, well, $1, right? No, the books were more than $1. I don't remember. It's J.R.R. Tolkien's translation of The Legend of Sigurd and Gudrun. I read this in my Northern mythology classes when I was in college, and it wasn't this translation, it was some other translation. Of course, my teacher was a total freak for mythology and history, and so I'm sure she picked the best one, but I saw this in the dollar store and I knew I had to have it. I haven't read it yet, that's why it's on my TBR shelf, but maybe I will someday. The Northern mythologies are kind of harsh. I don't know if you read any of them, but they're pretty intense. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I think this story may be from the Saga of the Volsungs, which is an old Norse saga, and it's very famous, and I read it and it was fun. Don't know much more about that. The next number I have is 314. 11, 12, 13. This is funny. So, it's Divergent. I haven't read this actually. I picked this up right before I started booktubing because I thought the movie's coming out, everyone's talking about it, it's gotta be great, right? No. I'm so sorry, Divergent fans. I really did not like the beginning of this, and I'm not saying I'm not going to read it, but it struck me as just another Hunger Games. I just didn't like it. I may still see the movie, and maybe I will read the book after I watch the movie. I've done that a couple of times, so. The next number I have is 32, which is, if I recall, my copy of Northanger Abbey by Jane Austen. This is one of my 2 favorite Jane Austen books. I just love it so much, so much. I read this many times. It's a good short book. If you're interested in Jane Austen, I think Northanger Abbey is a lot of fun. It's not, to me, quite as serious as the other books, and it kind of makes fun of old Gothic romance novels. Really interesting. Check it out if you haven't, or if you want to. Some people don't like Jane Austen. My last number is 220. The French version of Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone. I got this at Powell's in Portland, Oregon, and I really wanted to read it. I, at the time, was in French 302 probably, so got pretty high up there and I was feeling bold, so I bought it. But within the first couple of pages I encountered words that I had never heard of in my life, and I've been taking French for 7 years, so I've never read it. But lately I have really wanted to get back into reading books in French. I love the language, I love the country, it's wonderful, and maybe I will. Anyway, that was my On My Shelf tag. I hope that you enjoyed it. I always have my bookshelf behind me, so if you see any books that you have questions about, you let me know. If you want to leave me more On My Shelf numbers, feel free. I've only got 3 shelves right now because, as I said, I sold my books recently, or well, 2 years ago, and it was awful and heartbreaking. They have about just under 30 books per shelf. So if you want to leave me more numbers, I thought that was really fun. I'd like to do it again. I will see you guys later. Bye.